The Reliquary, Episode 1, The Song of Winter. This is Elijahl Decarte, the listener for the Lodos Tower. I've been offered a new role as of today. I'm supposed to be the head of my current division now, the High Receiver, as Mimir called it when he offered, and I decided to accept. I mean, being that the pay is substantially better and it lets me actually decide what stories seem important, that's something that my predecessor was painfully bad at. And if I'm squared on the whole thing, it does need fixing. So all the other listeners are going to report to me now, and I'll have the actual resources to investigate the current reports with some freedom that, until now I absolutely had no power to do. And I always have questions when someone's done telling me their story, or when I'm done reading through one from an old piece of parchment, or even from a stone tablet. And as a listener, no one ever cared to listen to me, so my questions were just ignored. I am relieved that isn't the case anymore, but I do have some concerns that, well, I won't really expound on them right now, but suffice it to say, my memory's been a bit foggy lately. I don't know, I don't like this itch in my brain. It feels like I'm like picking at an old scab that just won't heal. I'll reach out to the local medicant when I get paid. Hooray for promotions. At least I can afford to go and get checked out now. Wow. Well, that's enough posturing on my promotion. I have a new job to do, so let's get started. Hey, Basil, you can let in the next subject. I think I'm ready. Welcome. Thank you for coming. Oh, sorry. Procedures. Yeah. Elijahl Decarte, High Receiver of the Lodos Tower, located on the Forgotten Isle of Desamir. I'll be observing and questioning where necessary. The date is the 15th of summer, 2987, the age of our queen. Today's subject, one Haku Nuhelo, an indigenous shaman's son and self-proclaimed primal high totemic, recounting an ancient oral history of his people. Original event purportedly occurred in the early spring of the year 1312 near Camden's crossings in the lowlands near Varega's southern border. I have that right, yeah? Liesel gave me your introductions.
Nuhalo, not Halo. But yes, you got it just as I said. A good memory on you, eh? That is good. These are stories that require a good memory. I am ready to begin my statement, if that is all right.
You can begin, Mr. Nuhalo, and I'll try not to interrupt. I know it's viewed as heavily disrespectful if I do, so I will try my best not to.
Our histories, tribes, and feuds aside, I am glad they let me speak to one of my own kind, at least in part. A native, but with no clan, How empty it must be for you. Disconnected from the spirits, what makes us, us. But they speak of you through hushed whispers, like hoofbeats on the sand, fleeting but begging to be followed. I've heard these voices in my dreams of creatures made from tainted soil wrapped in skin. The marked. Are you?
I would really prefer not to get into anything in this account right now about my blood status or my parentage. It's really not important. So, can we move on?
Your spirit flares, and for that I offer words of peace. No shadow was meant to darken your path. Respect flows like the river to the sea for you and the dreams you chase. Our past, for those who traded their connection to the earth with kinship, for the quill is but shattered clay and empty paper. Some tribes whisper on windswept plains, their stories faded like old tattoos. The shaman's drum silenced. Grief unfelt as a ghost, isn't it? To grieve what you never knew was there, it is to catch smoke and try to hold it firm. It is impossible. But I will walk as my Masa walked when she first shared with me the old ways. We, the Nuhalo, are few, but our stories pulse in our blood. So, I speak as if I was there, for in truth I was. That is the way of Guhani's marks, etched on this soul. He gifted tales to fire-bright eyes of the young, lessons learned in the heart, not from songs that twist and break, until the great tree falls and the forest is but a memory. From this breath forward I am Guhani. His story spills from my lips, a piece of the Nuhalo, a piece of us all. It began with my spirit walk, a lonely path down the coast. The trek to the nearest pure stream was long, and I knew I needed water before the second sun dipped, lest my bones never see home again. They cast me out bare, like a babe to the wilds, raw and weak before the elements. The cold gnashed deep like the teeth of a bear, severing spirit from flesh, freezing the marrow before the skin could even prickle. Then warmth bloomed. Had I worn clothes, I would have shed them, but perhaps that was the wisdom in sending me naked. We never reveled in waste. For spring, it was cruel cold. The winter squalls, those dark clouds that stole our oarsmen and shattered hulls with ice's spite, lingered like a curse. The north wind, a power I revered but did not yet grasp, was angered. Its bitterness made winter long, nearly cleaving spring in two. My sister Inja was fading with fever, her breath choked by lungs rotten from fighting the cold. A foul pond festered in her chest, each breath a rasp like stone beneath a heavy boot. She would pass. We all knew she would pass. So I faced my spirit walk 2 years before my time, years I should have spent preparing, but I had to save her. I was still a sapling, not yet a man. Barely 100 pounds, even swaddled in fur. When the frost came on the 23rd sun of the new cycle, it cut like obsidian. It carved through my bones, turning my purposeful search for the Kimjal River tributary into the aimless stumble of a corpse risen on a strange battlefield. I found a deer fallen to the cold, its body so stiff that even the grizzlies and carrion turned away. Spirits. It was so very cold. I knew not the day. I had been gone from the village for at least 3, and every water source was frozen, forcing me to chew ice to stay alive. Time blurred, and I found myself in a cave. The air was wet, and the cold gnawed. I saw no exit, only spiraling tunnels twisting in every direction. Beyond counting, the corridors seemed to shift, to change, yet I knew they must be the same. Wind howled through them like a pan flute, and each tunnel sang its note, forming a senseless song until I spun faster. The notes became voices, layered until a throaty song rose like a chant or a prayer. And as I spun, the world became a blur of darkness and impossible light, while the prayer grew clearer, more intentional, gaining a sense of being that no mere place could hold. I felt it in my heart, in my bones, deeper than the cold. And the cold vanished, but warmth did not come. I simply was. The cold had seeped into me, body and spirit, and the wind from my lungs was a storm. It was thunder and an avalanche, all in one. I had become it. I had become the cold. The very winter storm I blamed for Inja's fading. I became the thing I hunted, that spirit of winter that threatened to take all. It made us hungry and desperate. Now it was within me, and I felt blame. I felt the accusation, absurd as it was. I saw the faces of the dying and heard their silent pleas, and then mine died on my lips. Fear me not, embrace me. Then I fell, dizzy from the spinning. I awoke in a small room, a granite cube with bars and chains on the wall. Bones lay there, wrists shackled, close enough to touch. But I was unbound. Light pierced the bars, shadows stretching like a waking cat. A torch. It was flame. Once such a comfort, but now a stain of fear deep in my breast. I was back from the spirit world, in the last place our people ever wished to be. A man in gray robes approached, and he fumbled with keys and opened the cell. "We have questions, native." That was all he said, and then a voice echoed from my bones, unheard by the robed man. "Bide your time. The blizzard strikes hardest on the unprepared, on those who rush without thought." I obeyed. We passed cells filled with our people, Nuhalo, Inoki, Devani, frail and fading. An awful part of me drank their suffering like moon water at a feast, like smoke from a new pipe, or the thrill of the hunt. It was all of them, all at once. My body filled with it until it could hold no more, and then made more room to hold it. My frame grew lined with muscle, but my veins were as white as snow, and my skin, in the torchlight, held symbols like those of any shaman, any spirit walker, but their colors and their shapes were new. A spirit lived within me, not one that we had made our own. The robed man,
Keep walking.
a fundamentalist monk of some kind, I assumed, led us to a door. Through windows, I saw we were high above the fjords, approaching a bridge between the cliffs. The door crashed open and in came more of me. The cold, the frost, the snow sucked the monk into the endless void, and he turned to pale frosted glass, shattering on the rocks below. I accepted my fate, led by the voice. Take your freedom, for it is freely given. None will pursue you into the endless cold. The freedom and the gold are yours. I let myself fall from the bridge and awoke at home, rising against the protests of my masa and the shamana. I marched into Imja's room and held my hand over her chest, and there I felt it. Something wretched, pathetic in its scale, but vast in its power to spread and to kill, feeding on fear. It was not mine. It was not of the cold, and it would not take my sister. I clenched my fist and watched her chest tighten. I ignored the men trying to pull me away, calling me Vaniho, demon, cursed. But I drew the worms from her chest into the breeze, and a gust of wind erupted as dead flesh poured from her mouth. I only needed to look, to focus my will, and the cold did the rest. Imja's fever was gone, and she breathed freely for the first time in months. When her chest expanded, it filled with the blessed air of winter. And that's the story. We have not feared winter since that day. We have a harvest season in the snow, actually. Take my words, listener, and heed them. We don't understand the spirits. Perhaps we were not meant to.
Haku no Hollow's people are ones I'm very aware of. They're a nearby tribe that until now I thought was overzealous and but borderlined on an obsessive culture of storytelling and celebration. After this, though, I'm much less certain of that. This was a very strange experience, I'll admit. Maybe it was just the way he told the story, but I swear that I could feel that cold in my bones. I could feel the frost on my skin, and at a point I was sure I really was listening to a live young man recounting a truly world-changing experience. Whether it was a dream or not doesn't matter, but the feeling, that does matter. I'm so tired. Maybe I'll just rest for a while. End of report. Let the lodestones go silent. The Reliquary is a fantasy podcast and audio drama, copywritten and trademarked by Worldsmithing LLC. For more, please visit us on Amazon, iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Visit and follow us on YouTube, Facebook, or go to worldsmithing.com for more information. Follow, subscribe, and like to be updated on new episodes and projects, or join our Patreon and support us, or even become a part of the creative process itself. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you in the next episode.